Hello everyone, so welcome to this Saturday's video. Today we are going to make some mark making type of papers. You know the piece that I used in the journal last week, that little yummy piece that went along with Frida, this piece right here. So many of you like that, and it's a neat technique, so I thought we would do that today. So we'll do some mask making and using the gel plate and some of the various spray oxides and stuff like that. You'll see in just a minute. We'll make a lot of those papers. And here again, it's good. Once again, you know, I have my journal here, our book, actually. And I put one of the Mylar envelopes in the back. And I'm already filling it up with my papers and everything that I know, postcards, things like that that I want. And I just kind of keep it in a nice little bundle like this, so that when I come to work on this book, I will have everything that I need. Also, this month, I have new stainables. And so I've already stained some of them here, and I'll be doing some things with this. I'll probably, next week, in that collage, I'll be using some of these. But just to kind of show you, they're all from old book ends. So they kind of have this kind of look. It's kind of hard to see them a little bit right now, but they're muted. They're really gorgeous papers, and these have already been stained. So they already have like an old world kind of look and pattern to them. So like, for instance, this is one that's been stained, and this is one that hasn't been stained. So you can see it's quite a difference. And so using the unstained or the stained, and this is just with coffee and water, and it started, you can see on the back how you get the bleed through and just a lot of that old world kind of smocking that happens with them all. But so you can see the difference in coloration, and either way is good. But of course, you know, the staining goes right to getting something that's old world. So that's the link for the stainables for this month will be below. And I'll be using that in my journal, probably with next week's entry. But aside from that, welcome. And I always just start talking to you guys like you already know I am. So if you just tuned in the first couple of minutes, you're like, who's this lady? My name is Robin McClendon. Welcome to my studio and to my channel. And we do lots of printing over here, gel printing, mono printing, definitely book arts. My big thing is book art. You guys know that. So we do bookmaking, journaling, and just fun, you know, fun things, sumi painting. So anyway, join me if this is your first time here. Make sure to subscribe, hit the button all if you're new, and for everyone else who, you know, hangs out with me, make sure you hit the thumbs up so that the video gets pushed out. And let's get down to the table. Let's get started on making those distress papers that just kind of give that old age look. I love doing these when I'm just kind of sitting down and wanting to kind of do some mask making in the studio and creating pages that, you know, look old, that, you know, suit my style. So I know I used that last week, and I thought it'd be fun just to do a quick show you how I make those papers. And so let's get started. I use my gel plate, and I love Tim Holtz's distress products. The oxides work really, really well because they interact with water, or in this case, I'm going to be using alcohol because alcohol dries more quickly and you get sort of a different reactivity. And then also I use the oxide sprays as well as the spray stains. But these products really work nicely. I love working with these in this technique. I'm going to pull a lot of different papers. I have some old calligraphy paper, some tissue paper. I have this paper that you guys have seen me use before that is, I'm just going to go ahead and rip some of this. That is practice calligraphy paper. We have been working with the cotton papers. So I'm going to, I like to tear these down in smaller sections. I just find that because I use these as sort of like accents and what have you, You could make large sheets of them, but I use them a lot as accents in my collage. And with this technique, it's just kind of fun to get different color ways. So I'll take all of these and just make them a little smaller. And then that way you get sections to use in your collage. And you'll find that as you start putting them on the plate, you get these neat variations. And so I just kind of change them up sort of regularly. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. Just kind of making everything sort of half size. And then I have some tissue paper, just different papers. This is a little stronger than that. This is more like, almost like, it's not quite a tracing paper, but it's sort of like it. So you'll find that you'll have all different strengths of tissue paper. And then I have some of this ledger paper. So let's use some of that. Okay. So that's a nice little stack. And also, I know we were talking about some of this cotton paper last week, and I definitely gave you a link for it on Amazon. But I was traveling this past week, hanging out in New Mexico. We did a workshop there with Gypsy Raven and Teresa. Teresa's probably in the chat with us right now. And then I went hitting some of their savers and some of the local stores. And I just wanted to show you, I got a brand new box of Crane. It still has the plastic on it for $3.99. And then, you know, you get a little percentage off. A lot of times I have my little coupons and stuff. But even at $3.99, who's complaining? See, it's acid free. A lot of times the better papers are, this is called thesis paper. It's not resume paper, so it's a little thinner. But it's beautiful paper. So I wanted to show you that it is possible to go into your local thrift stores, like your Salvos, your Savers, Goodwill, you know, all of them, you know, they're all, you know, Salvation Army, all of them. And just go to the section where they put all the office stuff and just look through them. You'll be surprised what you'll find. And this is 100% cotton. If you bought this pack new, it's like $30 easily. So I wanted to just show you that it's possible. And just this past week, I was able to find some. Okay, let's get going. So what I like to do is I'm going to take, just kind of show you how I do it, and then I'll just kind of start working. But I'm going to use a little bit of forest moss. So you just kind of want to get that down. And then I'll spritz it. If I can get it here, it's starting to, I don't know why my little spritzer is there. Didn't like the angle. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of move it around so that I don't get the lines from the stamp pad. And what happens is it'll start bubbling up. And then just take your paper and just kind of tap it. See, so you kind of start getting a little bits on here. So work a few sheets at a time because you don't want to get too much color. So I'm just grabbing different things. They'll all stain kind of differently until you get it cleaned off. And then let's go to another color. And I'm just building color up. So I'll get, this is Gathered Twig. Use my little mister. And I like to brayer it because otherwise from the stamp pad, you're going to get, you'll get the squares. I'm going to pick up the squares. And then you're just getting little dots of stuff. I just misted some water on there just now. You can use water too. I kind of will just kind of play back and forth. Main thing is you just want to kind of get this little dot pattern. You'll start picking it up. And just using different colors will give you a lot of different variation. Let's get one of these sheets here. So you really just have fun, and the whole point is to kind of go slow. Don't let me do pumice. You know, don't try to get too much going at one time. My fingers too, because the fingers you kind of get the bigger dot patterns. I don't really want to kind of manipulate it a little bit more than the brayer, but the main thing is to just pick up. When these dry, because of the oxides, they interact with water and they start getting a really kind of chalky finish that I really love. And it really just gives a different look to aging the paper. And it's this real slow, subtle buildup that you'll start noticing with the papers. So that was, what did I just use? That was pumice. I also have this Lost Shadow. It's one of his new colors, which is really a cool color. It's lighter. So these are going to not look, you're not going to be able to see them as well on the camera because they're very chalky. But as they dry, you'll be able to see them a little better. It's hard to see anything right now. But if you were, when you work in real time as you're looking at them, you can definitely see the difference. It begins to happen with the oxides. I just kind of go back and forth, building up color. We could also use the spray. This is pumice and the spray oxide. You can use your sprays as well. So whatever you have ink. And you can also use regular ink pads too. If you don't have any of the oxides, like this technique still works with other things. So don't feel like you have to run out and get any of this. Just use what you have. I'm going to get a little bit more of this forest moss again. So even if it beads up, you can take little bits of it. I just try to not get a lot of the, you can kind of off. The main thing is to try to get dots. That's what I like to try to pick up, is little dot patterns. Like that, just kind of tap and then just keep working. Kind of go back and forth with the colors. And using different color papers also causes, the staining to look different. And let me get some of this gathered twig. I can't find all of I don't think I unpacked all of them because I have the walnut I like. I have a number of them, but I'm working with what I was able to put my hands on right now. Though, the more colors you mix in with these, the better they get. And just keep layering. As they dry, you just want to come back and keep layering. So I keep on going back and working some of my earlier pieces. You know, you just want to kind of keep, as they dry, go back over. And the whole idea is to keep on building up. Okay. Let's get some more gathered twig. I think I'm going to mix a little pumice in with it too. In fact, let's get dot pattern distributed with the pumice and see what happens. So I'm going to go back to this one right now, which is reading a little bright, but we'll start knocking it back, you know, by layering it. I love making these papers. They really do start taking on a really cool, you know, just stained look. And in the tissues, it's good too because, you know, you get that translucent. So make sure you're using all different kind of paper types. So I'm activating it with one of the oxides as well. So it's like kind of mixing the colors to get another color, but because it's the same formulation, they're pretty compatible. And you kind of want to let them kind of bubble up a little bit like that. Just a little bit of this. Idea is just to kind of tap it as much as you can, where you get the little bits. Come back with this piece. See how the oxides start? You can start seeing how you get that sort of gray blue oxide. And then when these things are dry, you're really going to see. That's when they come to life, when they're dry. You can do as little or as much as you want. The idea is for us just to make a nice pile of papers. So we'll have them as we start collaging. You just have, you know, your little groupings that you can pull from. I really like this. Let's see. We have none of my browns. Use a little bit of this tattered rose. I love this color. This is not an oxide. It's a stain. I love it, but I think I'm going to mix it in with this pumice oxide. And then just kind of, it's just like mixing color on a plate. That makes a nice color. That's really a nice dusty color there. I'll pick it up so you can see. It's like a little hard to tell. I know, but when they dry, we'll be able to see them better. Sometimes just curling the paper and touching it on the plate, get good staining. See how it's starting? You're starting to get that built up pattern that we love. And then some spaces where you see there's white spots. I kind of put my finger there and just deliberately fill it in, though I don't really fill them all in because I'll come back and coffee stain some of these, which we can do right on the plate, you'll see. And it's another way of building up color and texture and kind of controlling what you got going on. Can't forget our tissue over here. We want to keep on building color up on it. Let's do that again. I like that. And if you have Seth's colors, by all means use those. And if you have even one oxide, then you can take his colors, like I'm using the pumice spray, and you can use, you know, his colors and then come back with, spray a little oxide, and it just kind of gives it a chalky color. And it really just gives it that age look. Oh, I love this color that I'm making here, but this tea stain is good. Let me get some more tissue. Tissue gets a little wet, so it can tear, but this is going to dry nicely. Put that there. Okay. I don't know if it's enough of this one. This one is linen. It's old, so it might not be a lot of color down here. But let me just see. I use the pumice. Yeah, wow, there was some there. It activated. It's good. I like putting this tissue paper down the way it absorbs. Okay, put that there. Do a little bit more. Then I'll release everybody back to their desks. They can start working. Remember how especially when I was in art school, when I was in art class, remember how like the teacher would show you something? Oh my goodness, you couldn't wait to get back to your desk to get started. Like, okay, can we go? Can we go now? So, oh, this color is really good with the oxide, with this pumice. Like that. Wow, this is nice. I mean, just look at these papers. I know it's kind of hard to appreciate it right now because they're not dry. But we're getting there. Let's use this. And then I crinkle them. I do some, you know, mommy gummy with them and some coffee staining. And you really get some good stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to I have some coffee down here already made. Let's spritz with some coffee. And I'll just show you what it looks like just kind of picking it up with coffee. So, you know, it just does a different kind of staining when you use the plate versus when you just spray right on there. You just get a different kind of stain pattern that looks a little bit more like water damage or something like that. Like the papers had some water damage. So that's just using the coffee. And I'll do a close-up of all these, but you can just see the pattern is so much different. And we can take some of the pages that we've already done. Like this will have a little bit of pumice on it. So we'll spray. And then pick up some of the coffee. Let that dry. I love how this, it's hard to see, but that tattered rose is starting to oxide. And it's just spreading out the little sort of red or pink tones around the pumice. And then we can just put this down and pick coffee up. Of course, you could do a black tea, which is nice as well. I keep my coffee right here on the table, but I definitely put alcohol in here. And in that way, the top coffee doesn't go bad. If you don't put alcohol in it, it's going to go bad and be really gross with mold in it. But the trick to keeping it on your table and always having your coffee ready to go is to definitely put some alcohol in it. Just put, you know, a teaspoon in. You don't need a lot. Just enough to knock back. Oh, this is looking really good. Just to knock back, you know, any mold from growing. It discourages it. I love doing the coffee stain on my gel plate like this. And especially when you mix it in with, oh, that's looking good. I know it's hard to see. I keep on saying that, but when it dries, you're going to love it. So now I have coffee down here. I can come back with my Distress. Put a little bit of that down. And that's going to mix in and create another color. Oh, that's good. Let that dry. And so we're just I'm just gonna keep on playing and going through papers like this. And I will be back with them dried and so you can see the final results nice. All right, see you shortly. Okay, so I'm back. They're all dry. So I thought I would pull out our book so you can sort of see what they'll look like against a blank page. So these are the tissue papers, all nice and dry. You see how the pumice just is a real subtle staining. It's some coffee, I think, on this one too. But the tissues, it's good old-fashioned tissue paper. But when you go to glue it down, you'll see that whatever's underneath, we'll be able to see through it. But it just gives us this aged look, which is nice. So just showing you them dry. They're all a little different. That's what I love about them. This is good too. You can really see the chalky. That's what that pumice is. But also, remember the pumice is old now. So if you have pumice, you can use it. But they also do the sprays in the lost shadow. And also the stamp pad. So either one, they still give it this nice chalky look, which I absolutely love. It's coffee staining with some pumice. All of them a little different. So, just thought I would show them to you. Finished up, and just get such good colors. I'm gonna bring the light down a little bit too. Just a minute. I took the light down a little bit, and I think that helps to bring the color. It's funny because sometimes if I film with it too low, then it gets a little dark. But anyway, I think you can see the color tones a little better with the light down a little more low, which is nice. So here we have all of our stain papers ready to go. And we did a little bit extra over in Patreon where I used some wood, some stuff that I got in France. If you're in Europe, if you're in France, you know how to get your wood, W-O-A-D. But it's impossible to find it here. I mean, sometimes you can find it online, but it's such large quantities. But it's like an indigo. So if you have like a dark indigo sort of stamp pads, or, you know, even because it's a watercolor. So you can even play with this technique with your watercolors. But so I did some slightly darker sheets over here. But we kind of just kept on playing with watercolors, some of the distressed. And just showing you how some of the colors and everything are just a bit different. So it just kind of darkened the palette a little bit from something that may be more like this, you know, well, that's not the same. Maybe something like this. Then we added more of the dark textures and what have you in. This is nice because this has got a lot of dark, and then the silver in it is really cool. This is good because this has all the original colors in it, plus some of the wood and some of the darker colors with the gloss wax on top. And then we have this one. So just wanted to show you all so you can see what they were looking like. But that's everything. So until next week, I'll see you all. We'll be probably next week. We'll do another page in the journal. I'll kind of go between our mask making, doing some of our challenges, and then doing pages. So we'll kind of go around, you know, we'll kind of go back and forth. That way we can have fun with a little bit of everything, you know. We'll make stuff and we'll work in our journal because there's no rush to get through this. I really want to take my time and enjoy the process. So that's what we're going to do. Alrighty. So take care. Love you all. Make sure that if you're not subscribed, it's the first time you come across my channel, make sure to hit the bell, hit all. And if you enjoyed this video, thumb it up because it pushes it out to the community, and we bring new and amazing artists and creatives into the community. And you guys, I love the premiere. So make sure that you hit notify when you see the premiere. And then that way, when you do that, it'll bring you right into the premiere room when the videos go live every Saturday. And aside from that, love you all. Take care, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.